different tab. There we go. Yeah, perfect. All right. So we're gonna hit the projected button and see what it says, and then I'll just like see what I disagree with. It's probably not gonna be too much because honestly, the seeding is now so easy to do with how many teams there are established, that there probably won't be many upsets. Are there gonna be any games today? There might be. There might be some games later on. We'll see. We'll see. I know that most of the there's a lot of people busy today with other stuff, so I thought I'd throw in this this show, this prediction thing. Is it the Razer Black with a keyboard? It is not. And if you go into the description below, you can see what keyboard it is.
I just wanted to ask if
Plus, I figured this might happen a lot today, so it might not be a good idea to cast anything. Can you mod your chat? No. Right, thank goodness he says if quickly. Let's just get this one started. I'll try and go into some detail of what the teams are. So top of the line, we got Flipside. Everybody knows that's Marky Duda, Cuxer, and Greasy. And they are going up against One Trick Pony in the winners semi. So let's go and take a look at who that is. Just because, oh, I spelt it wrong, didn't I? Yeah, it's all one word. Gee, I can't do this. We'll just go see who's the starting lineup for that on the website. For goodness sake, I searched in players. Here we go, One Trick Pony. So it is, I believe, Woody, do you know who the actual starting lineup is for this roster? I'm not sure what the starting lineup is. I believe Spoonie and Karotin. I've seen them playing in tournaments recently, but I don't know who the third is. If it was me, I'd expect it to be Kheri, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. He's definitely a later addition to this because until recently he's been playing alongside Dan Shizzle. But maybe Woody can help me out here. Do you know what the final lineup is going to be for these guys? It doesn't matter. Okay, Spoonie, Karotin, and Kheri. I was correct on that one then. I did manage to guess what the roster was going to be. I don't think it's going to matter because Flipside should probably roll them. This is all best of fives. They are doing best of five this time around, so that makes sense. I'm not going to bother talking about the round of 32 matches because they should all go to the higher seed. The closest seeding, I believe, is... Who are the 16th seed, Woody? I believe it's the... who is it again? This is 16th seed here, I believe. So this is the one that's supposed to be the closest. One Trick Pony versus Team Celestial, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken. But it doesn't. The reason I'm not going to talk about these matches is because it doesn't matter who goes through that one. They're probably going to lose 3-0 to Flipside, maybe take a game. But I'm going to say 3-0 Flipside in this top bracket. Here, is it my birthday? Yes, it is my birthday on 26. All the guys give me birthday wishes in the chat. I appreciate that. I really do. And let's move on here. Leftovers versus Zedek Nation. Probably the closest matchup in the round of 16. Probably the closest matchup. We'll just go ahead and see who the lineups are on Smash for these teams. I think it's, oh my goodness. Look at that. There's two teams called the Leftovers in NA, and there's one in EU called the Leftovers. But it's the European team that we're looking at. It's the European team that we're looking at. Can you believe that they let those teams have the exact same name except for a single capitalized letter? The North American teams have got, one of them's got capital L, one of them's got small case L. Maybe that's a capital I, the IF-dovers, because Leftovers is taken. I don't know. Could I copy this and then see what happens in the, if I open it up in a notepad, it might show up. We can see what kind of letter this is. I think that's a small case L. What? Okay, I'm really confused. I don't know what on earth that is. I don't think what actually happened is I don't think I was able to copy it. But anyway, EU, Leftovers from EU is the team that we really want to pay attention to, and that is Snasky, Siki, and Continuum. Or have they changed that recently? I know that Farah and Mout are both good players as well. Put it in Word and press Alt F3. Oh yeah, I could do that. Or I could press Alt F4 as well. That would work. Guessing you didn't watch football. I did not. I'm not that curious to know about these two teams. They're irrelevant. But yeah, what is the starting lineup for the Leftovers? I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. I know if it was me picking this team, I'd probably go Snasky, Siki, and Mout, honestly. That's what I think their best lineup is. Myself, Farah seems to be the third. Really? They've taken Farah over Mout and Continuum. Interesting. Actually, I already, yeah, somebody told me that the other day, but I was pretty surprised to hear that.
Here's Johnny.
They don't even know. Well, if it was me, I would take Mout as the third, but Farah is pretty solid as well. Continuum is one of those guys who is, he's been around the top of the scene
Happy
for a while now.
birthday to you, beautiful piece of nose.
I know,
May
right?
your nostrils grow big and mighty. Tell Johnny a happy birthday from me, too.
Neil's team man, thank you for the fiver. I will tell Johnny that. Sammy Gat as well with the sub. Thank you for expanding the brand in your own way. I appreciate that. But yeah, in terms of the leftovers, hold on, I'm probably gonna have
Bet
to
you
get.
can't say jizzed joyfully 10 times fast.
I'm not even gonna try. But Nano Waffle, thank you for the £8. Very kind of you. Anyway, moving on. Leftovers. I would say Snasky, Siki, and Mout. That would be my top three for this team because I don't know. I like the way Mout plays. He's very team oriented. Very positive guy. I have no idea what Farah is like in team comms. Continuum can be a bit tilty, but nothing against the guy, but he could doubt himself a little bit, or at least he used to in the past. But yeah, they are exactly as their name would suggest, the leftovers. They were like, none of us have teams, let's team up, and they're going up against the Zedek Nation in winners round 2, and this is I believe gonna be the closest one, or the closest game. I've misspelled this, haven't I? Oh, it's got a space. This is going to be the closest game, I think, in the round of 16, because Niels, Dan, and Zensas, Rick's Ronde is a substitute, I believe, but Niels, Zensas, and Dan, they've had variable results recently. They've had a couple of good results, but also a couple of very bad results, including today they lost in the Meta League tournament to, whose team was it again? They lost to E-Monkeys 2-0. That's a game they really shouldn't be losing if they want to be thinking about group stage and RLCS. So these guys maybe looking a little bit shaky at the end here. They did have, or Dan Shizzle, I don't know what his story was for last RLCS, but Niels Kok and Zensas, they had a bit of a roller coaster last RLCS qualifier. They were actually playing alongside Magnus, who's quite well known for his 180 backflip flicks, and more recently he's playing alongside Metsinoris and who else was it? Continuum. And then after that, after Continuum left, they got a lot instead. But these guys, they used to be Kaunos, if I'm not mistaken. And was it the first qualifier where Kauno? Who was playing with Zensas and Nielscock for the second qualifier? I've forgotten. Nielscock. I mean, yeah, what a name. But they beat Penta in the lower bracket. They beat Penta, and then they lost to Jesse, Sebedam, and Flarky, and they were just like, how can we beat Penta and then lose to Jesse, Flarky, and Sebedam, Team Summit, who turned out to be the whipping boys of the group? It was Magnus. Okay, that's what I thought. It was, because then Continuum was playing with Metsinoris and I believe Lunation for Aeriality at the time. But yeah, these guys, Niels Cock and Zensas, they narrowly missed out on the group stage last time. If they did beat Team Summit, I think they would have been a shoo-in to get into the groups. Will they do better this time? I actually don't think so. I think this is a fairly accurate prediction by the bracket. I think that the leftovers are just going to be too strong, even though I think this is seed 8 and 9. If I'm not mistaken. I think this is seed 8 and 9. I think that the leftovers are going to take this. Just the quality of Snasky and Siki is going to be a little bit too much for the new boys. However, it is going to be a close game. I'm going to give it 3-2 to the leftovers. That's my prediction there. Dusk Knight, appreciate the sub. Welcome to the channel, dude. Moving on. Pocket Aces versus Copenhagen Flames. This is going to be another one of those games that I think is going to be quite one-sided for the Pocket Aces. Copenhagen Flames, for those of you who don't know, I might be able to do it like this, can I? You can't copy. Really? I wish this was a bit more interactive, like I could just click on that team and see who they are, but you can't do that, so I've got to go over here and type it in. I've actually never seen the Copenhagen Flames play recently. They've had a couple of decent tournament runs. I think they peaked at like 6th or something in the power rankings. I really don't think they're going to have, they're going to be too much problem for Pocket Aces to deal with. That is, of course, Pashi, Chaussette, and now, or rather, Pesci Violent Panda, and now Chaussette is the third after Devo has left for Northern Gaming. But yeah, that's going to be 3-0 Pocket Aces, no problem. Mocket Esports versus Planet Key Dynamics. This is another one of those games that's going to be quite one-sided in my opinion. Although Planet Key Dynamics, I think, will put up a better fight than Copenhagen Flames will. How do I spell this? Did I get it right? Yes. So Marvin, Danny, and Radio. They did actually have a good result against Flipside Tactics recently. Well, I say recently, it was like a month ago. They took a best of 5 against Flipside in Gfinity. I think it was 3-1, so that's their best result, their most notable result recently. They're a more dangerous team, I think, than Copenhagen Flames, but still, Mocket Esports, with how well they've been doing recently, are going to easily dispatch them. I believe That's going to be another 3-0 actually. But Dynamics have got a better chance of taking a game than Copenhagen Flames do, in my opinion. So yeah, I've got 3-0, 3-2, 3-0, 3-0 going down the line. Continuing on from here, Northern Gaming versus Pentagram. Just going to search Pentagram's roster real quick. And meanwhile, Lyrics, appreciate the brand expansion. Thank you for the sub, my man. And welcome to the channel. But I am actually not 100% sure what the roster is for these guys.
First time I caught your stream and it is your birthday. Happy birthday, Johnny. Mine was yesterday.
Wow,
Add
there you
this
go.
to the prize pool for your nose.
Oh, my nose is going to win. It doesn't even matter who my nose is up against. It's going to win. Thank you for the fiver though, Pug. Welcome to the stream. And Bum Chi as well with the sub. Welcome to the channel also. And Jacob with the host. Oh my goodness. There's so many notifications. Jacob, hope you had a good stream, dude. Appreciate the host.
Enjoy some al dente copy pasta. To
Z3, thank you for the 420. Very much appreciated. And the spam to go with it. Some wholesome spam. That's never going to harm anybody. There's the host alert, which doesn't happen too often because you need to have at least 50 viewers before that actually happens. So there we go. Big host from Jacob. Very much appreciated. Ryu1138 with the sub as well. Thank you for expanding the brand just a little bit more. Very much appreciated as well. And I'm looking out to see Woody. Do you know who the starting lineup is for Pentagram? I'm not 100% sure what their starting lineup is going to be. Either way, they're going to get 3-0 by Northern, regardless, unless Beanvo shows up really, really hard. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is going to be another 3-0 for Northern Gaming this time. So yeah, so far I've predicted 4 3-0s and 1 3-2 in favor of Leftovers over Zedic Nation. Alaskan ST with the sub as well. Welcome to the channel, my man. I appreciate that. Oh, it's Data Porn and Alex to start for those guys who are actually they're pretty good players. Oh, so this is so Porn Flakes had to call himself Flakes. I see. I was confused for a second at who Flakes was, but now it makes sense.
Since you already keep track of who wins on your stream, why not make an official gingerly like moi champion? For the 1v1 duelers to battle for the joyful, similar to how championship bunnies matches work
Who
in
currently
UFC.
holds the belts? I could do that. That's an interesting suggestion. I appreciate the £4, £11 ho-ho Macang angles. And Igatio as well with the sub. Welcome to the channel, dude. Very much appreciated. And Yemen, my number one fan as well, donating £3. Very much appreciated.
Johnny, it is me again.
Don't know how on earth you managed to acquire that money. Probably stolen, but I'll take it regardless. But yeah, like I was saying, Data, Alex161, and there's Porn Flakes. He said to go by Flakes because obviously he wants to keep the brand a little bit more solid and respectable. Camshaw RL as well. Thank you for the £10. That is incredibly generous. He says, well, he's about to read out what he says, I'm sure, but appreciate the kind words as well. But yeah, Porn Flakes and Alex161, both top 10 1v1 players
Johnny,
on their day.
Scottish bean.
Very much appreciated. Love being called a bean. It's a great word. So yeah, these guys, top 1v1 players. Data has made RLCS group stage before alongside Seeks and Reganim, but I don't think they're going to do it this time because they're just too last minute. I don't know. I don't see the synergy being there. They're a dangerous team, but I still think they're going to probably get 3-0 by Northern. They are... Like I said that Planet Key Dynamics had a better chance of taking a game off Mocket than Copenhagen Flames did against Pocket. I think Pentagram have a better chance of taking a game against Northern than Planet Key Dynamics do against Mocket. So, you know, they're more likely to take a game, but I still don't think it's going to happen. I still think that it's going to be 3-0 for Northern. Northern usually show up pretty good in times like these against the lower level teams. Yeah, they're definitely a dangerous team. Very individually talented players. I just don't think they're going to have the synergy. Moving on, Leaf Esports versus Urban Myths. This is going to be a close one, in my opinion, because for those of you who don't know, Leaf Esports, Grandmaster Sexay, Krazak, and more recently Jazer, instead of the who's come in to replace Supra, they've been doing quite well. They've had some solid results, although they did drop a series to Zedic Nation quite recently. But before, I don't know, the first week together, they looked really solid and had some good showings, and then after that they kind of dropped off a little bit. I think honeymoon period kind of ended, but they are not going up against one of the big four. The big four, of course, being Mocket, Northern, Pocket, and Flipside. Just they're the guys who have had LAN experience before. That's not to discount people like Secrecy, who I think are going to be a huge team to watch out for. But yeah, Leaf Esports going up against Urban Myths, who, if I am not mistaken, is the name that Doomsy, Sebedam, and Bluey have decided to go with. Yes, it is. So these guys, all English team. Bluey's now old enough to compete in RLCS, and he's teamed up with Sebedam and Bluey, his Sebedam and Doomsy, his countrymen. They just had a pretty close series with Flipside about an hour ago. In fact, they had a very close series. So perhaps coming into some form at the right time are Urban Myths, and they are of course going up against another Englishman in the form of Krizak, GM Sexe. For those, I've had a lot of people asking, do I know any Austrian pros? Well, there he is, GM Sexe. He is Austrian, as far as I'm aware, the only Austrian pro. So keep an eye out for him. And of course, Jazer needs no introduction.
Back, but don't worry, I'm not here to spam remember me to make you remember me, because I think you already remember me. You remember. If you don't remember, you should remember me.
I do remember.
You are getting old and
Cabrersi, thank you for the 3.
Happy birthday.
I didn't forget yet, and thank you for the birthday wishes and the £3. Very much appreciated. Like I was saying, Krizak and Jazer, they have who's Jazer? Yeah, so Jazer needs no introduction, of course. Krizak and Jazer do have experience playing together previously in RLCS Season 1 Qualifier 2. They were a team.
That is the question.
That is good. Well, they were a team with Ryuk. That was the Triple J squad.
Happy
Pretty
birthday,
dangerous team. They dropped out to Crown and Jewels, though.
I hope your birthday is filled with moires and happiness. Cheers from Na.
Mr. McFeely, thanks for the $5, and Eat Aegis as well with the 2-month brand expansion. I appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome back, I should say.
That was German, moi moi.
Is it really? Does it actually take that long to say moi moi in German? I believe moi moi is Finnish for bye bye. So if that's how you say goodbye in German, then goodbye. Kurahi117. Thank you for the tenor, by the way. You guys are so generous. I really don't deserve all this support. But yeah, these guys, Krizak and Jazer, have got previous experience playing together, and Krizak and GM Sexe have been playing together for quite a while now. Krizak, one of those players who doesn't play with comms. There's a few of them still nipping about these days. So that's an interesting fact about him. But he, I think, is actually the player to watch in this team, although Jazer is going to be the player who's going to bring all of the attention to Leaf Esports. Krizak, I think, is the one you should have your eye on. He is a very dangerous player. He's the player that Urban Myths are going to have to look out for. However, with the very recent results of these two teams, I think Urban Myths are going to edge it. Despite being the lower seed, the bracket is actually predicting Leaf to move forward. I think Urban Myths are going to move forward here 3-2. I think it's going to be close, very, very close. But Urban Myths running into some good form recently, just at the perfect time. And they could definitely pop off here. Definitely pop off. Moving on, Team Secrecy versus Small Town Girls. I think this is going to be another one-sided... No, not small girl towns. Small town girls. Oh no, not girls D. No, definitely not girls D. Yeah, these guys definitely not gonna give Team Secrecy any problems. 3-0 Team Secrecy, no problem.
Great to see you stream. Enjoying it very much. Could you do a Fairy Peak versus Lack 1v1 show match soon?
I would love to watch those two guys 1v1. Of course, the problem is that it's Europe versus America, and although I think Fairy Peak's got quite a lot of experience for playing on NA ping, I actually have no idea if Lachinio has been practicing 1v1s recently. I've got no clue. Probably not, given the fact that he has been practicing with his team for 3s in the RLCS. But yeah, that's a matchup I'd love to see. And thank you for the 5 months, Flow1001. That is a long time to be resubbing. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's Team Secrecy. I guess I'll look them up because perhaps not everybody will know who these guys are, but a lot of Magnus Metsenoris, 2 Finns and a Swede. The Swedish sandwich with Finnish bread. Definitely look out for these guys. I think they're going to make a great run into groups and beyond, possibly even a LAN showing if they play the cards right. Very dangerous team. Very, very fast in the air, very good at passing, and very good at redirect counterattacks. But yeah, they're going to dispatch with Small Town Girls 3-0. And notice I predicted 5 3-0s and 2 3-2s. So it's either going to be super one-sided or super close, in my opinion. No 3-1s. Pago with the sub. I appreciate that. Brand expansion. Welcome to the stream. And for anybody wondering why I'm calling it a brand expansion, it's just due to a little bit of banter that's been going on Twitter recently. I'm sure you guys in Twitch all know about that. So I've been enjoying reading all of the tweets. Very, very enjoyable stuff. Good memes. Good memes from all involved. I'm sure that you guys would want to know my take on it, but I might give that later. Right now, we'll focus on the bracket prediction. Last round of 16 game, Penta versus Red Eye, and Red Eye, they were perhaps one of the surprise teams to qualify into the group stage last time around for RLCS Season 2. They're coming back with two players that are the same as the previous run, Tequilas and Dadu. This time they're back with Skyline instead of Chaussette, and I don't think that's going to cut it. I think Chaussette really carried that team into the group stage the previous RLCS, and with Skyline, although he is a pretty solid player, he's not got Chaussette level carry ability, not got that amount of individual skill. Of course, we do see Chaussette on Pocket Aces now with Pashi and Panda, where he doesn't need to carry as hard, but definitely a solid player to watch out for. So yeah, that's going to be pretty expected for Penta to win. The problem for Penta, though, who are Penta Sports, by the way, not Penta Esports, is that these guys have flopped a couple of times now. They've had a couple of bad flops, and you know, they were expected to qualify kind of 4th or 5th seed going into the groups last time around, and they didn't even come close. They lost, I think it was the first round they lost the round of 32 in their previous RLCS qualifier attempt, and then they lost to Kaunos in a close series, so they didn't even make it into groups, which was really bad for me because I predicted them to make groups in my RLCS fantasy team, and that ruined my chances to do well in the EU Fantasy League. But it was alright because I won the NA Fantasy League, no problem, beating analysts such as Gibbs and all of the other RLCS analysts. Just swept them under the rug with my NA predictions, easy peasy. I do have, I believe, a Smash GG hoodie in the mail to commemorate the achievement, so I'm looking forward to getting that. Meanwhile, until that arrives, I do have I can't reach.
Happy birthday.
Just got a little Smash GG t-shirt to prove that I won.
Keep up the good work.
So,
and to the end, little
gonna
spell.
chuck that back on the bed. Where it
My
belongs.
nose, soon it bleeds, maybe cuss too much scratching.
Yeah, try not to scratch the nose. Wade13, appreciate the $5. Welcome to the stream today, and thank you for the generous gift, which I assume is because it's my birthday, but you guys really, far too kind. I've already had too much support for today. Yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted by Twitch chat. Yeah, Penta, will they flop again? I don't think so, because last time the team that they dropped to was a huge upset, and I don't think it's going to happen again. We'll have a look. Who are age matters? Who are they? Do I recognize any of these players? Oh, I do actually. Oh, hold on. That's a pretty dangerous team, in fact. Ooh. Penta, are they going to flop it again? If I had to pick one team who are supposed to just, you know, run straight through into the round of 8, who are most likely to flop, I'd say it's probably Penta, just because they have had problems against teams that are much worse than them in the past. And of course, Aeonhart, primarily a 1v1 player. MX22, probably the second best Italian player after Cuxer. So look out for him, and Chacaron makes up that roster. Dangerous team. Not a team you want to face in the round of 32, to be honest, because it's just one of those other teams, kind of like a Pentagram. You know, it's like, ooh, it's 3 players who are all pretty solid, and you don't want to run into that, but I still think Penta have got it. I don't think they're going to be in it this time around. Surely not. They disbanded for a little bit. They were this exact same roster with Killer, Freaky, and Pon. They tried to qualify in RLCS Season 2, and they failed.
Happy birthday,
disbanded,
Butterfly.
but now they're back
To
together.
expand your brand expansion. Brand expansion. Is the meme dead yet? No? Brand. Also, do you know Gordon? Guy from Dundee, decent
No.
bloke.
Dundee, I believe, has about 100,000 people in it, so that's quite a lot of people, and I don't know Gordon from Dundee. Why would you want to go to Dundee is another thing that I would want to add to that conversation. But Cormac123, thanks for the £3, very kind of you. Fairy Peak, welcome to the stream. Of course, Fairy Peak, one of my favourite 1v1 players to watch these days. Appreciate the sub, my man. It's very kind of you. And Snazzy Top Hat with the 2 months in a row, expanding the brand. That's what I like to see. Oh, Mystic knows him. Of course, Mystic from Dundee himself. Scum D, if you will. He does know Gordon, so that's good that we've solved that mystery. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so Penta, they disbanded, tried out some different teams, and then they just ended up coming back together again. Sort of a take 3 story where, those guys they tried Season 1, qualify, failed, disbanded. Then they were like, well, none of the teams that we tried out really worked, so let's just give it another bash together. We've had previous experience working in that roster, and I think, yeah, this time Penta, they shouldn't beat it. They shouldn't. If there's one team who might beat it, given their previous beanage, it's probably Penta, but I don't think they're going to beat it. They're going to qualify past Red Eye. I think 3-1 though. This is the one game that I'm going to predict 3-1, just because Penta are less consistent than the other teams in the top 8. So every top 8 team that's predicted by the projected bracket I agreed with, except Leaf. I think Urban Myths are the favorite to win against Leaf, but that will be a 3-2 by Urban Myths. Every game is going to be 3-0 to the favorite, apart from Leftovers over Zedek. That'll probably be a 3-2, not 3-0. And also Urban over Leaf, that'll be a 3-2, not 3-0. This will probably be a 3-1 to Penta. So that's my round of 16 predictions.
Johnny, do you know a pro from the Netherlands that wants to play with an almost rising star, Loki referring to myself? And Johnny, do you like tuna salad? Because I love myself some nice fresh tuna salad. What gifts have you had for your birthday? Remember JK.
This is the entirety of my birthday gifts so far. Just a card from my mum. It says, as it's your birthday, why not have a lie-in, listen to your music, play your computer games? Which honestly is what I do every day, not just my birthday. So I don't know why my mum thought that would... I'd have to wait for my birthday to do those things. But yeah, that's my birthday right here. That's all I've got.
And I wouldn't ever spam with W's like this. WW kidding. D have a great evening. Moi moi.
What does it say on the inside? Have a lovely birthday from mom and dad. And then it's got some guy, some dog, I think. Is it visible? Oh, it's like got green on it, so it's hard to see. It's got a dog on it that's fallen asleep with really snazzy looking headphones. Like, I do not own headphones that are anywhere near that cool. And yeah, when I'm sleeping, I don't look that good either. But he owns a really nice looking laptop, actually. I should probably get myself one of those. Happy birthday, yep. But yeah, I think the joke was that that's what I do every day, so I'll just keep doing the same thing. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate the birthday card. That's what I like to see. And you guys are really generous. So PPRC, thanks for the tenner. And Blind My Gamer as well. 10 points. That's really kind of you. I do appreciate it. This is really my birthday gifts in the form of donations. Just, building the brand of my PayPal.
Johnny.
Was what I like to see.
Thanks for the great content.
Hey, you're welcome, Luxuck.
My sprinkler goes like this and comes back like
what? How did you do that? That sounded dead like a sprinkler. Holy cow. So it's just this, you write this with 2 S's and then TS. And then for the last bit, it's just a bunch of T's followed by an E. Very, very good meme. Holy cow, that was impressive. I did not expect that to be so sprinkler-esque, and I didn't even know that you could have something sound like a sprinkler. But wow, uncanny, very uncanny, Lucktuck. I'm impressed. That was very, very impressive. RLCS, going over RLCS predictions. Yeah, we're doing RLCS predictions. I predicted my round of 16 games. Hold on, who's messaging me? Oh, nah, who is it? Oh yeah, thank you to Metsonoris and Penta Pond for keeping me right. They did play with GMS last season, not Killer. So thanks for letting me know. It was actually after after RLCS that they added Killer, and Killer was just like better than he'd ever been before. He just looked really good in that lineup, which is quite interesting to see. Just looking at anyone who's messaging me stuff on Steam. I don't want to ignore people. Okay, we're up to date over there. That's good. That's what I like to see. Anyway, moving on. Flipside versus the Leftovers. This is a matchup that I think will happen, and I believe all the qualifier matches are going to be streamed if they do the same thing as they did last time. So this is going to be on stream. And Flipside, of course, Marky Duda Cuxer and Garizi going up against Siki, Snasky, and who did they have? Oh, it's the Leftover, for goodness sake. That nice spell. Farah was the third here. So yeah, just the left hand side. They're not completely locked in with that roster. We'll see. Maybe somebody sleeps in and makes it easy for them. Maybe somebody quits the team last minute and then they could just play with whoever shows up. But yeah, I don't think that they're going to cause Flipside too many problems. Flipside haven't really looked that solid recently compared to their like unbeatable Season 2 self. Like season 2, they just rampaged through everybody. They hardly dropped a game. They were beating their rivals most of the time. I think Market were the only team who could really stand up and give them a challenge. But this season, Flipside are looking a bit more shaky, dropping a couple of series to Market. They've also lost to like very, very low rated teams with their substitute Flarkey playing. And they dropped a couple of scrims to Secrecy. But going up against Leftovers, they'll still be the favorite. I think when the pressure is on, Flipside are just going to be too good for the Leftovers. I think Leftovers are going to take a game because Flipside have looked a bit shaky recently, and Leftovers are a dangerous team. But yeah, F3 are going to take this 3-1 in my opinion. Am I still their manager? Yes, I'm still their manager. There's not a huge amount for me to do when we're not boot camping or at the LAN. But yeah, those guys, I do help out those guys with their brand building. You know, I just help them build the brand of their own streams and YouTubes and such. Yeah, so that's pretty much my role in the off season and organizing stuff. But this second game here, Pocket versus Market, this is going to be super interesting. I think this could be the closest game in all 4 of the. In fact, I think it will be the closest game in all 4 of the winners' quarterfinals. Of course, the winner of this will move straight into the league play, and the loser will almost certainly going to qualify in the second attempt anyway. I'm going to give this one to... Oh, this is the toughest, honestly, because we've got Pashi, Panda, Chaussette against K-Dot, Fairy, and Mystic. It's going to be a 3-2, I think. It's going to be a 3-2. And I'm going to give it, I think, to Pocket, just because in this sort of, like, in the clutch, in the super pressure situation, I think they're going to have the edge, just because they're the more experienced team. However, it's going to be super, super close. That is going to be a game to watch for sure. The game to watch for the day. Absolutely the game to watch. Assuming that the bracket doesn't go crazy and Flipside like drop in round 1 and then end up facing Market or something in the losers. But yeah, I'm going to give it a Pocket Aces 3-2. I think this is the one that will have the most contention on it. But yeah, Pocket did beat Market on Friday. They beat them 4-2 in the best of 7 Gfinity finals. So recent results would say that they're the favorites. And I think that most of the time that Pashi's gone up against K-Dop in tournaments, he's had more victories than losses. Although Market did look like the best team in Europe for a while. Right after they picked up Mystic, they just beat everybody for about 2 weeks straight, maybe 2.5 weeks. Then they started to look a bit shaky, but they're back in their stride now. They beat Flipside in the semi-finals of GFIN, but then they lost the final to Pocket Aces. So I'm going to give this 3-2 to Pocket Aces. It's going to be insanely good series to watch, though. Really looking forward to that one. Moving further down the line, I did say that Urban Myths are going to move on here to face Northern, not Leaf. So continuing with that line of thought, I think that Northern are going to be too good for Urban Myths, and I don't think the Urban Myths are even going to take a game. I think Northern are just going to be too good on the day. I know that Remco and Devo haven't been playing Rocket League as much as Maestro.
But do you know a pro player from the Netherlands, or was my first question just a trick to make me donate more for your birthday?
I genuinely feel bad.
I hope that the voice guy can speak Dutch.
Hello, I genuinely feel bad. I even had a good answer for that question.
This is a JK.
I even had a good answer for that question as well, and I just forgot. I was gonna say, yeah, just let me go to my Netherlands in my friends list. Let's see. I'm sure all of these guys would love to play with you, and indeed anyone else in the chat who is Rising Star or below. Be sure to spam them on Twitter. This list is Polypol NL, Dan Shizzle, Gontho, Pornflakes, Remco, Niels Cock, Dogu, Jesse, Vogan, and Violent Panda. Spam the crap out of all of them. They all love playing with noobs. The worse you are, the better. So definitely spam all of those guys. You heard it here first. Anyway, back to Northern Gaming versus Leaf. It's going to be 3-0. It's going to be 3-0. Northern are going to be... No, not Leaf. Northern versus Urban Myths, because I think Urban are moving forward. Still 3-0 for Northern. I think on the day they're going to be too strong.
Happy birthday, Johnny. Glad my resub lined up so well.
Hey, Portal Pimp, 5 months in a row. Appreciate that. Thanks for the brand expansion, dude. And on my birthday as well. Very, very fortunate indeed. Jesse. Yeah, all those guys. Jesse Pinkman is the Jesse.
Gingerly the remember guy.
Yeah, you just got wrecked, mate, trying to swear in the comment, but it got ruined because I'm a genius. I've blocked it. Thanks for the £4.11, so that's really, really generous of you. So yeah, I think 3-0 Northern are just going to be too good here. I've got 3-1, 3-2, 3-0, and yeah, Team Secrecy are also going to move on here as well. I think that the predicted bracket is correct here. Secrecy over Penta is going to be, I think, like Penta could take this. If you look at the individual quality of the players, I think Secrecy have the edge just because right now Magnus is playing so well, and Metsenoris has been like underrated for a long time, I think, and a lot has never looked better than he has in Team Secrecy. So they're absolutely insane right now. Penta, even though with the addition of Killer, they did look like a much better team than with GMS.
I am in class. When am I not watching you in class? Watching you though. Love
This
you,
is true.
Johnny.
Hey, the ugly ass carrot, thanks for the 2 months, very much appreciated.
Planes go, boats go, ra 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 ra.
I would skip this, but I want to hear the last bit. Come on, I was like really impressed with the sprinkler impression, but that was just awful. Like, come on, you could do better than that. Just go back to the sprinkler, dude. But thanks for the £4, very generous of you. Appreciate all the support, guys. The brand is building. I can feel it building. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. The donations are getting annoying. Well, I would say so as well, but it is building my PayPal brand, so I'm not that annoyed at the same time. Blind Gamer, thanks for the brand expansion, dude. It's going to go a long way. I mean, every little helps when you're thinking about brand expansion. It does all add up at the end of the day. But yeah, back to Team Secrecy versus Penta. I think Secrecy are going to win, but Penta are... They're such a hit and miss team. They can show up and be so annoying and just like beat you through 1-0 3 games in a row. But they're also that kind of team that can show up and lose in the round of 32. So if Penta actually make it this far, which I said they're the most likely team to flop on the day, but I do think they'll make it, but they're also the most likely to flop. They're still going to lose to Secrecy.
I
think 3-1.
To say happy birthday in my last donation.
Oh,
so
you didn't?
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you for the happy birthday. You didn't need to donate again just to say that. I appreciate that though. Very kind of you. So yeah, I do have 3-1 Secrecy over Penta, 3-0 Northern over Urban, 3-2 Pocket over Mocket, and 3-1 Flipside over Leftovers. That is my winners bracket. Moving down to the losers, I'm not gonna predict like losers upsets here. I'm not going to predict losers upsets. We're just going to assume that everybody moves forward because I can't be bothered going through all these teams that you guys don't care about. But the one thing that is worth noting is that here, where it says Urban Myths, or rather here, it says Urban Myths, that's actually Leaf Esports in my iteration, because in my iteration in my head, Urban beat Leaf. So this is Leaf, where it says Urban Myths, and they are going to meet the Leftovers in the top of the losers round 6. This is Leftovers versus Leaf in my iteration.
Johnny, what is this branding meme I missed?
Just check out Twitter from yesterday. There's a bit of banter going down between the players' union, the players' onion, if you will, and a couple of casters who think that they know how the world works. It's very, very entertaining to watch. I love it. It's great. I'm just like spectating with my popcorn, watching it all go down. I'd usually weigh in on this type of thing. Who knows? I might later. I've been known to just randomly come up with opinions out of thin air. But right now we're going to focus on this. But yeah, check out Twitter if you want to know the branding meme. It's just the players' onion versus the wannabe casters. So anyway, Leftovers versus Leaf. I think that Leaf are just going to be outmatched here. I think they're just going to be outmatched. The Leftovers, despite what their name would suggest as being like a ragtag team, they're a team who they know how to play 3v3. Siki and Snasky in particular. Very, very solid threes players. Very good anchor players. Snasky's wall defense is up there with the best in the world. Siki just seems to always be relevant in every game he plays. Hardly ever has a bad game. Will Farah be able to mix in with that to shut down a team like Leaf where you got Krazak, GMS, and Jazer? I think it's going to be good enough. I just don't see Leaf Esports bringing enough to the table. It's probably going to be a 3-1 in favor of Leftovers over Leaf here. I don't know. I'd love to see Jazer in the group stage though. I would. So I'm not going to be too sad. Sorry to Snasky and Siki and Farah and Mout and Continue. But I would not mind if Jazer beat you there because that would be hilarious. It would be really funny. So I would love to see it. I would love to see Jazer in the groups. Going further down the line, Mocket versus Red Eye. Comfortable win for Mocket, 3-0. That is, of course, Red Eye was Tequila's, Dadu, and Skyline going up against Mystic, K-Dot, Fairy Peak. No, they got no chance. Mocket are going to sweep that 3-0. Easy peasy. Wait, why are Leaf down here? Okay, who are Leaf supposed to be? Leaf are supposed to be Urban Myths here. Yeah, okay, so we got that right. Because Urban Myths is Leaf. Leaf is Urban Myths. Okay, so this is Urban Myths against Zedic Nation. This could be a good one. This could be a good one. Yeah, this could be a really good game. Looking forward to this one. It's going to be Doomsy, Sebadam, and Bluey going up against Dan Shizzle, Niels Cock, and Zensuz. And this is tough to call. It honestly is tough to call. Very, very difficult. I'll say, just purely based off what I've seen in the most recent tournaments, I'm going to give it to Urban Myths, but only by a hair. I think this is going to be super close, 3-2. Doomsy, like, missing an open net on 0 seconds, and then the game goes to overtime, but then like Bluey rescues it with a, I don't know, off the wall air dribble dunk onto Dan Shizzle, and then poor Dan is gonna miss out barely. This is gonna be close though. It's gonna be close. I think 3-2 Urban Myths over Zedic Nation is gonna be the closest of all these games for sure. And then we come down to this Penta over Planet Key. Bluey did for England. Sorry, Dan. That's just what I don't know. I didn't plan that at all. That's just I thought, how's this gonna end? Yeah, that's probably that's probably what's gonna happen in my iteration in my head. But it's gonna be close. That's a tough one. Very tough draw for Zedek, honestly. Very tough draw. They've run into a tough team of Urban Myths here. They'll be hoping, honestly, that Leaf make it through. They'll be hoping. Like, I think Zedek Nation are going to be really hoping that Leaf beat Urban Myths, just so that if Zedek Nation do lose, where we expect them to lose to, that they'll run into Leaf and not Urban Myths. I think everybody's going to want to run into Leaf instead of Urban Myths, just because Leaf have looked a bit shaky recently, and they seem to be less consistent.
Brandishing the brand, are we?
Brandishing the brand.
Here's some more money.
I know.
Also,
Thanks,
hit me up
thanks for that.
if you're interested in making a baby with a glorious nose. I, too, am blessed with quite a sizable schnoz. I'm a guy, but we'll make it work.
I'll let you know if I have a change of heart on that one. For now, though, I'm gonna pass. Thanks for the fiver, though. Very much appreciated. I don't know. Does my nose look that big right now? I don't know. This is here, Athena. I know you're in chat. You were very curious to know why people say my nose is huge. It's because look how big it is from this angle. Do you see that? It's much bigger than from the left. It's because it's like totally squint. It's like pointing this way. So that's why I put the camera on my good side, to make my nose look just a little bit smaller. For the 2 or 3 women who are probably tuned in and never going to be relevant in my life. But anyway. Penta versus Planet Key dynamics. Actually, this is quite an interesting one, because Copenhagen Flames and Planet Key, it's predicting, yeah, so does it always, okay, it always predicts the bottom team to go through. Fair enough. I don't think Planet Key are going to have enough to beat Penta. However, they've beaten Flipside before. Penta have beamed it before, several times. So, could happen. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think Penta are just going to be too good this time. I'd love to see Penta in group stage. They kind of deserve it, those guys. Pondex is one of the deadliest strikers in the world, and Freaky is probably the most impressive player who nobody knew about going into the back end of RLCS Season 1. Nobody knew about the Team Enjoy guys, Freaky, GMS, and Frizzish. They just came out of nowhere, and Freaky stuck around at that top level, so it's very impressive to see him once again. I don't think so. I think Penta are just going to be too good, though. I'll give it 3-1 for Penta. I don't think Planet Key have got what it takes. That is Gorse, Marvin, Radio, and Danny. So I think that's all my predictions. I've got Penta going 3-1 over Planet Key or Copenhagen. It doesn't matter who goes through this, honestly. Like that could go either way. I'd give it a Planet Key. I think it's probably correct. But 3-1 Penta. This is going to be a 3-2 for Urban Myths over Zedek, because I've got Urban Myths beating Leaf further up the bracket, and then we're Leaf. Where are Leaf? No, here we are. So Urban Myths up here is Leaf, and then I think Leftovers are going to beat them 3-1. Mock it over Red Eye 3-0. Peasy peasy. So that means my 8 group stage teams for Europe are Flipside, Pocket Aces, Northern Gaming, Team Secrecy, The Leftovers, Mock It Esports, Urban Myths, and Penta. That is my 8 teams. But if I had to pick one team who might dark horse their way in, if I had to pick one team who might dark horse their way in, I think it would have to be Zedek Nation. I think. One thing I would have to say is I've listened into their team comms, and they are very positive. I think they're never going to completely give up. They're always going to believe in themselves, which is very important in a qualifier where if you lose in losers bracket, you're out. So they're the team who might squeeze in Zedek Nation. That's my opinion on the European bracket. So there we have it, and I'd love to hear other people. If you disagree with something that I've predicted, then definitely let me know in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments.
What's your prediction on how likely you will see a successful Magnus Flick trademark in RLCS?
Hey, he's been trying it.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Magnus. I know you have been trying it on other show matches.
Just want to give a shout out to my favorite streamer, Coronavi chat. Just kidding. Fook Coronavi. Anyways, happy birthday. Mwah moi WW, I only have this $5 because I didn't tip the pizza guy.
Yes.
Feel guilty.
Got the pizza man's money.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for the 6 months, Sea Savage. Looking out for your green badge in the chat. That's what I like to see. And Magnus, appreciate the $5, dude. I do want to see a 180 backflip flick. You should definitely try to inherit that meme. Just accept it. Just let it soak in. Okay, so Radio's letting me know that Danny is Italian, so he might challenge MX22 for the best Italian player. That's an interesting bit of Rocket League trivia. I didn't know Danny was Italian. It's close. It's definitely close. The gulf of like Cucks and the second best Italian player is so big that nobody really even looks into it. It's a huge gulf. It's Cucks +2 for the Italian team. You think Zedek are going to pull a take 3 against Flipside, so they're going to win game 1, then lose the rest of the series? Or no, they're going to win game 2, then lose 3-1, and then they're going to lose 3-0 in the losers bracket. If they run into Flipside twice, that would be I think it's possible. No, it's impossible, isn't it? You can't run into the same team twice in this bracket format, I'm pretty sure. Can you? Now I'm really thinking about if this is a possibility or not. Actually, you could. If you lost in winners round 1, and then the team that beat you in winners round 1 loses in winners round 3. Happy birthday for Boomer. Hey, another 6-month Tag Pro FC. Welcome back, dude. Appreciate that. Brand expansion. The 6-month brand expansion. One of the best brand expansions that I could ever have. Anyway, that's my European bracket. Definitely let me know your opinions on Twitter or in chat or something. I think it's pretty easy to predict, honestly. I'll be surprised if I've got anything wrong. Outside of Urban Myth Zedek, I think it's all pretty easy to predict. Yeah.